Good morning, everybody. The sun's out. I'm feeling good. I got really special guests here today. I have the incredible Jonelle Massey. Correct?
Correct.
Did I get it right?
You got
okay.
It right.
But yeah, welcome to the Steve Taylor Community Connection Show. I am so privileged and honored to have you as one of our guests today.
Thank you.
And you have a very interesting story to tell. And what I'm most impressed about is that our upbringings and our life experiences, they connect really well. They align really well because you used to be a former college basketball player. Now, I can't mess this up, at Xavier University, correct?
Yeah, you kind of messed it up. It's not Xavier, it's Xavier.
It's Xavier, okay.
Yeah.
I knew you was going to correct me. But tell us a little bit about that, and then I want you to get into, some things like what are you doing now?
Okay.
And then, of course, we have the big mental health summit coming up.
Yes, awesome. Thank you for having me, Terry.
You're welcome.
A long time ago, I played at Xavier University, and the sport was basketball. The reason why I say that is because in high school, I was a 3-sport athlete. And so I did soccer, track, and basketball, and I was recruited for all 3. So I actually went to Xavier on a soccer visit and received some notes from the basketball coach that said that they might be interested in me playing basketball. And so the decision was made by my parents. They said they did not want to sit outside. So I was going to be indoors, and I was going to be dribbling a basketball that I had started dribbling in 9th grade. So it was a new sport to me, and I was recruited by Coach Elin, who a lot of folks know because he was he recruited me at Xavier and then left and went to Toledo. So I unfortunately did not play under the coach who recruited me. So it was a different experience playing at Xavier, a fairly new sport, recruited as a prospect, and then having the coach go on his way, and then inheriting a coach who was wondering why I was not on the soccer field and why I was on her basketball team. And so mental health has always been a thing in my playing career because the first 2 years were rough. Just not being up to par. I had just started AAU the summer before my senior year. So the learning curve, it was huge. I had a lot to learn at that level. Very athletic,
right,
and just needed kind of that psychological safe space to grow in that area. And at the time, Xavier had just entered the Atlantic 10 Conference, which was pretty big for women's basketball. We had the Virginia Techs and all those things. So there was a lot of things that I had to endure and just get on board and figure it out.
Right.
And could have used a lot of support in the emotional side to get through that. But I made it through. Xavier was a great experience.
And back in the day, it's kind of unfortunate, but back in, my day came before yours, but I'm just generally speaking, back in those times, we didn't really have that emotional support. No. I know at the University of Tennessee, I never had that support. Yeah. And it's tough for athletes, with the demands that's placed on them, with the expectations, with your parents. I mean, your parents scrutinized. My parents were, really hard on me. If I scored 3 touchdowns in a football game, they wouldn't talk about the 3 that I scored. They would talk about the 3 that I could have scored. So not 3 but 6.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that adjustment. Yeah. And now you're here in Toledo. I mean, you've been here for a while now.
Yes.
You do absolutely great work in our community. Just tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay.
And then we're going to go into the summit.
Okay. So every time I say this out loud, it blows my mind. But my husband is starting his 11th season at the University of Toledo with the men's basketball program. And the reason why I say that is because I'm 19 years in the game as a coach's wife, and the first couple of years it was not long-term in any area. So we bounced around from Robert Morris to St. Bonaventure and all the things. And so to be here in Toledo for this long is very surreal and has allowed me to really raise our children and really set our roots here in me having business here. as a licensed mental health therapist. And so I am the owner of Agility Counseling Group. And I have worked in several areas of mental health because I've had to move with my husband.
Okay.
So like I've worked on the psych unit in the hospital because that was available in that area, or I would work in the schools. So I have my school counseling license. Like I've picked up all these licenses in order to not be at home with the babies all day, every day.
Right.
And so when I got here to Toledo, I was in Toledo Public Schools for a little bit. So this venture in my private practice is just 2.5 years old.
Okay.
Yep. So I was able to get back to private practice. I did a little bit of that in Pittsburgh.
Okay. And your business, what does that consist of? I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, so I mean, it's counseling, and I do a lot of other stuff
And what is the
besides
name of
counseling.
it?
It's Agility Counseling
Okay.
Group. Agility Counseling Group, because I am just a big fan of agility, emotional agility. So there is a doctor called Susan David, and she talks about emotional agility. And I think it's great for all walks of life, but especially for our athletes and coaches and parents.
Okay.
So
Did you say parents?
yes, of course,
maybe,
parents.
maybe I'll sign up.
Yes, parents, coaches, and
Right.
and students I see. So I see professional retired athletes, and I also see college and high school athletes. When I see high school athletes, we tend to have a lot of parent sessions
Right.
because systematically we have to approach this as a family system, because everybody in that household wants to see the kid's success. We just
Right.
go about different ways of pressuring success. And so we do come together and do family sessions, but outside of counseling, I do speaking,
Right,
I do a
yes,
lot of other
yes.
things as well, and I work with a lot of college teams and high school teams as well.
Okay, in your business, I typically ask most people that I interview this question: what are you most passionate about when it comes to the counseling work that you're doing with individuals?
Yeah.
What are you most passionate about?
You know, interesting, that's a good question. I think what I'm most passionate about is giving people permission to be human. And I think when you work,
That's powerful.
yeah, when you work with athletes, I think they're so hard on themselves
Mhm.
that they almost don't put themselves in the category of being human.
Right.
And so that validation, I think, is a driving force for me in my practice. And when I say validation, I mean acknowledgement. I think we get validation
Right.
wrong sometimes too, but acknowledging that you're grieving when you don't even realize it. And I don't mean like a
Wow.
loss of a game, but
Right.
maybe it's an injury. Like there are some human behaviors and things that you are going through psychologically and emotionally, and you're not exempt of that because
Right.
you can score 30 points a game.
Absolutely. I mean, I can really relate to that because I could recall some times that where I probably needed help,
Sure.
but didn't reach out for it.
Yeah.
Didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and most folks told us to suck it up.
right.
Yeah. And that
Absolutely.
you are a leader
Mhm.
and you can endure.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have a fantastic, I am so excited. We have a great mental health summit coming up where
Yes.
we're going to be, you know, you have a lot of students involved.
Yes.
You have a lot of schools involved.
Yes.
You know, I am so excited. I'm actually on the committee helping out, doing my little due diligence,
Yes.
you know, volunteering whenever I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm so excited. I really am. I want you to really, as we close, I want you to really get into, you know, just telling us what this is going to be about.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm from Cincinnati, and I was doing in grad school, I was doing some internship in schools when I was coaching at the high school level. And I remember taking my kids to the Anthony Munoz Leadership Foundation conference. And it was such a powerful experience. And this was years ago. And we had the keynote speaker, the real coach from Remember the Titans.
Right.
Phenomenal
Wow.
speaker, right? And the kids just really went back to the school, and they were just like motivated. And of course, this was a leadership conference. But I think about that experience and wanting to recreate that with the focus of mental health. So that was years ago. And then, unfortunately, as a coach's wife, I've endured a lot of just inside intel on what's going on in other teams. And so the wives are talking significantly about their husbands as coaches and what's going on with the players. And we have gone to plenty of summits at the college level, and I think the colleges in the NCAA is doing a great job of intervening and saying mental health is important. What about high schools? Not really seeing that a lot, and not at a level where we are including as many folks as we can in the city, and making sure that kids from one school on the east side and another school on the south side, one playing wrestling over here and one doing hockey or basketball over here, have so much in common. So on February 24th, we're going to have the summit at the Imagination Station. If it wasn't going to be at the Imagination Station, it was not going to happen. Because I just envisioned that big theater for the opening session and all the breakout rooms. And so in the morning, we've invited 21 schools to come, representing 5 leagues here locally. And they are going to get in the room, and they're going to do a lot of interactive sessions and activities. They're going to hear great speakers. We have panelists. One of our speakers used to be the former sideline reporter for the Cincinnati Bengals. I heard him speak at a college conference. He is phenomenal. He talks about his battle with mental health, and now he has a podcast that he interviews a ton of professional athletes, and so just great insight there. We have a couple of national champions coming our way, whether it's Ohio State football or Penn State volleyball. We have a ton of coaches from the Olympic level. We have doctors and nurses and physical therapists and nutritionists coming in to talk about the whole athlete.
Right.
And that's just the morning, right? So we're having that.
And what time does that start?
So, and really, to be honest, the schools know what time it starts. The schools will be bringing the kids in the morning from 9 to 1. They're going to eat lunch. There's a therapist that I worked with who's also a DJ. And so he's going to have some DJ at the lunchtime. He's going to play some music. We're going to talk about mood and music. So it's going to be a lot of fun in the morning.
Beautiful.
And then in the evening, it's open to the public. And there's an emphasis on parents, coaches, and then of course athletes who couldn't make it during the morning time. And that is from 4 to 8. We might have to kick them out the door, but 8 o'clock, they got to go. But 4 to 5, we're going to have a tailgating resource vendor exposition.
Right.
We're excited about that because we'll have anybody who has a passion to serve the whole athlete to be present in that resource room, in the tailgate area, along with NAMI, some mental health organizations.
Some local organizations.
Yes. So excited about that. Vendors are still signing up for that. And then we'll go into our breakout sessions. So yeah, it's exciting. Toledo has so much to offer. I mean, initially I was going out to get all these national speakers. We will have lots of people coming in town. But then also you start to hear about, the NFL players that own the restaurant, in the 5 brewery, and then you hear about another, professional athlete or another Division III national champion.
Absolutely.
That is now doing training with kids. And so there's lots of good juju and lots of stories in Toledo, and they're all going to be under one roof. We have 43 speakers just because of the panel. So we'll have like 4 to 5 panels. 4 to 5 people on each panel. And that's for wonderful. The whole day too. So we have our breakout sessions in the morning and then in the evening. So
Now social media, I know that you've scheduled some things for that too. Could you kindly tell us the order of those? Because I know this evening you're going to be speaking to Coach Brandon Carter from Ottawa Hills. So just briefly tell us about that lineup because I don't want to miss any of that.
So over the next 2 weeks, we're just trying to get people excited about the in-person summit that we're having on February 24th. So the live series is not the summit, but it's just a taste. And so and Brandon will be there. He's going to bring in Ottawa Hills. He'll be speaking as well, but he's going to give us a little taste. He's going to be talking about building trust with parents, which is a thing for coaches, right? And also building trust with their players. So he is tonight at 7 o'clock on Facebook Live, but it's between Facebook and Instagram because some folks have Instagram, some have Facebook. And then we're gonna do 3 more after that. And so I have an old teammate from back in the day who's been the Florida State head women's basketball coach for about a decade. And I've worked with that team as well. And so she's gonna talk live next week, I believe. I don't have the schedule here, but it's the next 2 weeks. We're going to have lots of coaches in, but then also a parent perspective as well.
Yes.
So some fellow coaches' wives and talk about kids of coaches, which is a whole nother thing. You can ask my children about that. So that can be found on Agility Counseling Group's Facebook page.
Okay, I was just getting ready to ask you. I'm so excited, but for more information, or if people want to find out how do they contact you, or is there a telephone number? Or?
Sure. So they can email information at agilitycounselinggroup.com.
Okay.
They can go to Facebook, Agility Counseling Group, that has all the information. The Eventbrite link for the tickets.
Okay.
We have a student cost and adult cost, and yeah, I mean, you can look me up, Jonelle Massey. I have Instagram, Facebook, website. If you really want to be there, you'll find me.
Well, thank you so much, Jonelle Massey, for coming out. I really appreciate that. You were absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
I am so excited to be a part of it on February 24th.
Yes.
And hey, we should catch you next time on the Steve Taylor Community Connection Show.